two priorities, and those are... I've got very interesting topic for today from a subscriber, and it's about priorities. I will do some background stories so you know where I'm coming from. And after that, we will talk about priorities and how to organize for the most important things in your life. As long as I can remember, I was always feeling lazy. And in combination with sloppiness, I was perceived as a dreamer of a kid. My madre was always trying to tame me by all means. But I'm happy to say that she failed with that mission. I was never keen to managing stuff during my school years. Having those pen holders and having different colors of pen. Writing down the exercises to your homework. Always call to my classmates and ask them for the assignments. I try to avoid keeping diary as much as possible. When I was going to school, we had those diaries with your weekly schedule for subjects, as well as marks from teachers. For the parents, of course, for them to see and occasionally slap you for. I remember girls being more prone to those things than boys, especially anarchists like me. Nevertheless, I was never a helpless kid. You know how sloppy people mostly require more attendance, assistance, because they are too absent-minded. Sure, I was a dreamer, but I never was disconnected. So I knew what I was doing, in a way, I guess. Same thing was through high school or upper secondary school. Never liked organizing. For most time, I winged it. I loved going with the gut feeling. I think that was the thing that made me to make a 180 turn from what I was doing before starting this channel. Because that is a sign of being truthful with yourself. And with that, we have arrived to the current situation. Still, not planning to a T, only having certain major points that I try to follow. With that being said, you have to have an emotional conviction to make something happen. And that's why I don't like to organize my time. Because for me, if I do that, it becomes chore. And I will explain later why. First things first. Priority number one, and the most important, is your health. Okay, I'm talking about me, it's my health, but you understand that it's universal for every person. And that includes physical health, mental health, spiritual health. This trifecta goes hand in hand and they are dependent on each other. If you are eating bad food, your mental health will be affected. And I've talked about it in this video. If you don't take care of your mental health, it will surely affect your physical health as well. Because if your mind is messed up, you will have a lot of issues. And those issues will affect how you treat your own body. Usually depressed people eat less than required. And anxious people eat more than required. And of course, we don't talk about the quality of the food. From that on, it's a vicious circle. This is very important for me. And by now, many have already guessed that I work out quite a lot. Having your body in shape is not only good for your health, but it signals to the outer world that you feel good about yourself. It gives you more confidence and power, because we tend to be drawn to healthy people. It's in our biological nature. Priority number two, self-actualization. Any of you who is familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of self-actualization, then you know what I'm talking about. I was actually planning to do a video or maybe a series on that. Tell me what you think. Basically, it's hard to talk about spirituality with a hungry person. Most often than not, your basic needs have to be fulfilled in order for you to reach the top of your potential. For me, it's about freedom, growth, fulfillment, elevating your consciousness. Funny thing, I came to think of me commenting on other videos and the replies that I get. And as usual, there are a lot of them saying that I'm everywhere and that I should get a life and that I sleep with my phone and wait for the videos to pop up so I can comment as soon as possible. I find it amusing how they don't get that it's practically my job. So yes, that is how I'm trying to get a life. It's a part of my second priority. Yet again, I don't believe in tight schedules, like doing everything to a minute. I'm going to go to the gym 10 a.m., work out 1 hour, and then I'm going to be at home 11 a.m., cook my food, and then I'm going to start on my upcoming video 13 p.m. Like, what the heck? I know that it's supposed to give some direction, but to be that rigid? We're human beings. Time as we used to it is a man-made concept. And the more we act according to it, the less we live in the now, in the present moment. Of course, I have the luxury to own the majority of my time, but it's a conscious choice that I made myself. Whenever you make your priority list, you have to establish what's the most important thing for you for now. And in my opinion, health should be uncompromisable. If you're working Monday through Friday and you have a lot of things on your plate, you have to make sacrifices. If you neglect things that are important to you, you will suffer. One trick I can tell you of is to understand the difference between important and urgent. So whenever you have several tasks at hand, you have to go through your list and establish which ones cannot wait. You have to always strategize for life that you will be proud of. If you find yourself in a deep rut, you have to make up a deadline for how long you are willing to put up with that. Knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel will make your life much easier, even if you don't like what you do for now. Whenever you set yourself to prioritize things, always ask yourself this question: which one benefits me most? And as with everything else, you have to learn to say no to both things and people, because if you ignore yourself, life will ignore you. Remember, a true creativity is timeless. Try to give yourself a time constraint, like an hour or two, and make an effort to be creative. You will be constantly stressed looking at your clock, and that ruins the creative process, because creativity comes from stillness, from non-thought. So those two priorities are the true purposes that I almost never compromise for. The rest, I wing it, because I own my time and don't have to adjust myself to fit others' agendas, which makes it easier to be spontaneous, quite honestly. Of course, when things start to grow, then I will learn to delegate, make some tweaks and minor adjustments. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. Just remember one thing: weird is the path to self-discovery. Hussein, out.